Right, folks, well, I've been promising this pretty much forever now, but we're here. It's the updated room tour. If you watched the last one, it was some time ago now, and everything's changed around quite a lot out here now. So I've done a lot of activity this year, putting in new cupboards, putting up new shelves and stuff. It'll probably stay as it is for a while, so now's as good a time as any. I'll talk you through it all. I'll start with the CRTs, I think. This one over here is the Philips Discoverer that I think was my very first pickups video. The very first video that I did on here was of that one. Currently, typically for this channel, out of action at the moment. It's waiting on a trip to Mr. and Mrs. Bear to see if we can get that one working. But this one's working. This was a relatively recent pickup. This is the OG Neaty, which is quite a cool little thing with its little feet sticking out the front, and you can't really see in this lighting, but it's got slightly see-through plastic around the front of it. It's obviously got the PC engine working on it at the moment. This is generally the corner of consoles that are plugged in and working. So we've got the SNES, the Mega Drive, the PS2, and the PC engine. They're all rigged up to the CRT. Well, they're all rigged up to this one on the right hand side that's actually working. The Discoverer is usually used for, if I can open the cupboard, the real vintage stuff that we've got down here. That's cheating a little bit, the Atari, because that's got a Raspberry Pi in it and it's not plugged into anything at the moment. But the legit ones are the Intellivision, a ColecoVision, recent pickup, and the G7000. And while we're on consoles, might as well skip over the next bit round to here. Show the rest of console corner. We've got the Japanese Saturn, the Dreamcast. Gives us some mini consoles. I've got the Neo Geo and the Famicom that were pickups from the Japan trip, and then obviously the 2600 Plus. And below that, got the N64 and the Japanese GameCube. Below that, we have the Lego Falcon, and then the PS3, the PS4, and the PSVR. So consoles and tellies, that's the gaming setup. We'll have a look at the general junk we've got up here. So, I'm going to start with my favourite, and I'll talk about it. I bring up Assassin's Creed in pretty much every video. Assassin's Creed is my favourite video game series. I have played them all. I have them all. They're all here in order. And a big Assassin's Creed flag. And another big Assassin's Creed flag. And another big Assassin's Creed flag. Because you can never have too many. Up here, we have the shelf of boxes. We've got the Saturn stuff with the console box and the arcade stick box. That's got the Virtua Cop gun in it, and the I can't remember what that's called. I can't reach to take it down. It's a little racing one that comes with a racing car. And then some stuff from my really recent pickups video. Got the boxed PS1. I have the Pagan Min statue from Far Cry 4. And I'll be lying if I told you I can remember this geezer's name, but it's from Street Fighter 6. And there is another statue that is currently away because I ran out of space for it. Moving on. That you can't really see because of the lighting, but over there we've got, I know some of you will hate this, it's the certificate from the Founders Edition of the Evercade VS. And this is slightly more interesting framed. This is the first ever edition of Odyssey Adventure. That was the official Magnavox Odyssey magazine. which came with the big Odyssey haul that I picked up last year. I had a few magazines that came with it, but that is the, I see it on there, the Premier Edition. And I've got the mood lighting on at the moment, so you can't really see that, but it's got some quite cool artwork on it. And then what I have on these little shelves varies all the time, but right now, just because it's some recent stuff, I've got the Menacer gun, because it looks pretty cool there. This Jar Jar Binks is one of the few things out here that was actually from my childhood. Like, original, it was found, my mum moved house recently and found my old Jar Jar Binks. So he's currently got pride of place. Got the arcade stick. And the little steering wheel that came with the ColecoVision from my last pickups video. My Foxbox sign. And then a little Banjo-Kazooie controller holder. And then this shelf here is all PlayStation stuff. Now, compared to a lot of you guys, my game collection is very small. I only try to keep the games that I've played, games that I like. There's quite a lot of turnover of this kind of stuff, but this is the PS5 and PS4 shelf. Don't have a huge PS5 collection at the moment, but I'm not going to go through every single game that I've got. There's quite a bunch of get rid of that. There's quite a bunch of virtual reality games there. Quite a bit of Far Cry going off out here as well. Far Cry 4 is the one that I'm currently playing. In fact, I just finished it today as I'm filming it. And then down here is, get that out of the way, my PS1 collection. I've got Crime Killer and Croc as sort of the ones that are on display. Now the reason for that is that they were the two first games I ever had. The Christmas that I got my PlayStation 1, which was the first video game console that I had. The two games that I had that Christmas were Crime Killer and Croc. I think I bring up Crime Killer quite a bit, and people are generally puzzled by it. I think it's quite an obscure one, but it was one that I played the most when I first had it because I found Croc infuriating after a while. Also on the shelf, I have my Crash Bandicoot. I did try claiming that was a fox in my Fox collection video. I've decided since then that that is nonsense. A few others from my childhood. Tomb Raiders. You'll see in a bit that I'm a Nottingham Forest fan, but I am from Derby, so is Lara Croft. So I've got a few Tomb Raiders in there, including, actually, got another Tomb Raider. That was my PC Engine controller falling on the floor, if you heard that. It's one of the many reasons why things don't tend to work out here. Talking of things that don't work, I bought, I think it was in one of my recent videos, I bought a non-functioning PS1 recently to harvest some parts to get the other one that I had working, which was a great success. But from the non-functioning one, and something on this doesn't work, it's the main chipboard from the PlayStation 1, which, when it came out, I sort of cleaned it up a little bit. I quite like having that on display, really. It's quite a nice little bit of gaming history in its own little way. What's not gaming history is this tacky light, but I bought it for like £2 from Home Bargains or something when they were flogging them off, so sue me. And it hides my slightly crappy PS3 collection. There's not really anything of note to talk about in there. Far Cry 3 is probably the best game that I've got out there. And then a bunch of PS2 stuff. The vast majority of this, I think, is going to be extreme sports games, because these are all ones that I had as a kid. When I was playing PlayStation 2, I was skateboarding and BMXing and doing everything. So I've got Airblade, Dave Mirra, several Tony Hawks, bunch of SSX ones, PMX Triple X, Matt Hoffman, and then a few just other random ones in there, some that I've bought recently. Vice City is one that I've replayed recently on the PS4 remake of it. That one gets to go on display just because it is an all-timer for me. It's a a desert island game for me, Vice City, without a doubt. So that is my little shelf of PlayStation-age. And this is where the stuff gets a little bit more interesting. This top bit, all that is just stickers and little bits that I collected when I was in Japan. I went to the Tokyo Revengers exhibition at the top of Roppongi Hills, and I picked up all these stickers on the way around. Some stuff from the Pokemon store. This is from the Square Enix cafe. See there? And everything was about Dragon Quest monsters, and I had all sorts of stuff in there. I've just got that on there because it hides a multitude of sins. Let's not look at that. So, tell you what, let's keep it open so we don't get the glare. Now this is a curious one because it's obviously a Final Fantasy shelf. Now Final Fantasy, I don't really like it, but I love the aesthetic of it. I love the artwork, I love the characters, I love the clean, sort of the white boxes with the name. I know they're not all like that. This is the Wonder Swan that I picked up in Tokyo, or someplace just outside Tokyo. It was the Final Fantasy edition. It came with a couple of different versions of it. I've got Final Fantasy X is the one that I've sort of probably about halfway through that one on the Vita. And then I've got that one for the PlayStation 1. I can't quite remember why I got that. I probably won't, because I am limited on space out here. I probably won't keep a Final Fantasy shelf forever. But I got a little one of him. Cloud Strife. That I bought in the Square Enix cafe. Down here is my Japanese Saturn collection, and these are my Gundam models. I don't know what Gundam is. It's on the list of things for me to do a bit of research on. It is everywhere in Japan, but I bought these little model kits in Tokyo Airport before coming back, and they're quite. I bought 3 of them. I don't know where the other one is, but the other one's there. I bought 3 of them and they were quite fun to make, so I might go after some more, but at some point I'm going to have to work out what it is. I have absolutely no idea what this is. I bought it at random while my missus was clothes shopping, but I've got some motorbikey stuff out here, so it goes on the shelf. Down here is my Sega collection. Now you can see that this is, I think, entirely light gun games. All the Master System stuff is light gun. I've got a little Sonic down here because it's the Sega shelf. And then I've got a few other bits for the Mega Drive. But mostly stuff. That is a full shelf and I can't afford to give any more to it. So, you know, when I get... There is a few that I'm missing light gun games. It's a subset that I wanted to complete. There's a couple of quite expensive ones I'm missing for the Mega Drive, I think. They're going to have to nudge some other ones out the way first. But for now, I've got a full shelf of them down here. With Sonic and the Gundams, keeping an eye on them. And over to this cupboard. Top shelf. Dedicated to Far Cry 5, which was the first Far Cry game I played, and I absolutely adored it. Never quite platinumed it, because normally I only buy the statue version after I've got a platinum on something. I came pretty close on this one, but there was a bunch of races I didn't do, and there was a bunch of... I don't know, it all got a bit much in the end. But I absolutely adored the game, and I loved the one that followed it, the spin-off, where Joseph Seed comes back. Spoiler alert. New Dawn, I think it was called. We've got a little Joseph Seed in there. Again, that might not stay there forever because of space, but for now, it looks pretty good. More Japanese stuff. So this is my PC Engine collection on the left-hand side, with a few more loose Who cards there. The little mini arcade cab that I got out of a pod machine. My GameCube stuff. Haven't actually played any of this GameCube stuff yet. In fact, I haven't played half of this since I got back from Japan. I've been moving cupboards and shelves and doing all sorts of crap. I just haven't had time to do any gaming because I've been out here doing everything but gaming. So there's a whole good bunch of stuff for me to play. Another one from the Square Enix Cafe. This lad. Never played Dragon Quest properly. I downloaded the mobile phone version of it because I felt like I needed to be playing it in the cafe. But I forget what it is. What we've got down here. Oh, this is my Vita collection. Starting to lose the light a little bit, but my Vita, my very, very fledgling Dreamcast collection. And this is the world's smallest working Atari, which I'm sure you've seen before, but can I turn that on? Is it charged? No, but it does work. And then down here, oh, it does work. See, it's on. You can actually play this thing. And this is a, here we go, Pac-Man. This isn't what I was planning to do for this video, but I've got stuck in the loop now. Oh well, you get the idea. They've got my Intellivision stuff down here, which again, and some Atari stuff in there, which again is a full round shelf. I've got my Game Boy Advance. That is an original from when I was a kid as well. That's my original one. This is the Legend of Zelda Game & Watch, which normally wouldn't be a major thing in a collection, but this is the one that I carried to the top of Kilimanjaro with me. And I did play at the summit for about 30 seconds before it got too cold and my hands nearly fell off. But it happened. So that, in those three cabinets, is my whole game collection, which isn't massive. I know some of you have got hundreds, thousands of games. I'm keeping it to just those. But, you know, everything in there's got a story. Everything in there's, you know, a game I played as a kid or something I've picked up when I've been travelling or something that I've gone out and bought for a specific reason. So it's all in there. It all ends its place. There is a bunch of... I'm just going to get that controller out of the way before it falls off again. I do have a bunch of... in here, in the cupboard of shame. I have all my carts. I've got my N64 games and all my whatnot. And then, I won't get it all out now, but all the controllers and guns and other such nonsense is all on that bottom shelf. I have a Pac-Man rug. Nothing can get over. Right, away from games for a second. And we'll get into the Lego. I have a strict rule that I break a few times. I pretty much only have Star Wars Lego. And I only build it at Christmas because it limits the amount that I can have if I do that. So that's the Imperial Shuttle. Boba Fett's Slave One. This is quite cool. This is one of the recent ones for the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi. Little land speeder bits. Got the Mandalorian's Naboo fighter. Got the TIE fighter. The X-Wing. And then these bottom two shelves. This is the more expensive thing that I've got, which is the Mos Eisley Cantina. It's a little dark down there. I mean, I need to sort the lighting out in here. There is a lighting kit you can buy for this, which I might well buy. But you've got the main cantina bit down here. You've got the band in there. Ah, you can't really see. It's too dark. But it also came with a bunch of kind of extra little buildings and little spaceship. And this little geezer riding the big green fella. And then the other one in this part of the collection, you've already seen it, is the Falcon. guarding my PlayStations. Moving on. Got a little poster that more Evercade VS stuff, which looks quite cool. Up here is the shelf of Foxes. There's a whole video dedicated to this nonsense, so I won't dwell on it too much, but there it all is. And then the Odyssey up there in pride of place, because although it doesn't get a huge amount of play, if any, I just love the artwork on it. I'm scared to try taking that bit of tape off the top of that box. I'm just leaving it there as a bit of history, but I've got some Odyssey stuff going on up there. And then I have two cupboards here, both dedicated to my favourite game series. I've got the Horizon one, I've got the Assassin's Creed one. Now I actually thought that I had more Assassin's Creed stuff than I apparently do, because this is a relatively empty shelf, but I have the collector's edition version of Assassin's Creed 3, and this is a little foam axe that I bought off eBay relatively recently, not for much money. I think they were giving these out for free at the launch event for it. I thought that was quite cool. And then I've got my Ezio from Assassin's Creed 2, the Black Edition. And then, oh, I don't know, that's Assassin's Creed 3, obviously. That was Black Flag. And then I think that is Revelations, the collector's edition one. And just behind it, tucked in the corner, I also have some other stuff. I think it's another one of the art books back there. And then it's a curious thing to have pride of place in this, but this is the statue of oh, I can't remember his name. It's from the movie. It's Michael Fassbender, basically. But it's quite a magnificent statue. I've got the Orlog game from Valhalla. That was a crowdfunding thing that I think it's the only time I've ever gone on. I can't actually remember what it's called now. The app where you can crowdfund things. Got a few more of the art books. That one's from Black Flag. One's from Syndicate. And then here I have the Syndicate Charing Cross edition with Jacob Fry. So that is the Assassin's Creed shelf. Need to do a little bit more with the lighting still. It's a little bit dark in there, but if I move that, does that get a bit more light to the bottom? No, not really. There's room for the collection to grow in there. But that is the Assassin's Creed stuff. And then up here, be careful opening the door on this because I put it a little bit too close to the light. But here's the other one. It's a new franchise. There's only 2 games in it, but it is absolutely incredible. It's Horizon. So I have got a lot of Horizon crap. I've got the collector's edition of Zero Dawn, and I've very carefully undone the box that comes on the outside of it and put it on the back as a little backdrop. I've got the Lego tall neck. I've got the big art book for Zero Dawn and the 2 comic books. I think there's only been 2 so far. Down here I've got the Aloy as a duck, which is bonkers, and a couple of little bits from the Lego set. Got the board game, which I haven't actually opened. I bought it from CEX, but everything is completely sealed in it. I just haven't had time to play. I'm not really a massive board game guy, but I need to spend a bit of time with this one. Some art books. Up here, I've got the Pop Funko thing of the Thunderjaw, and then the Zero Dawn Steelbook edition, smaller version of the art book, and Forbidden West. I will at some point buy the Forbidden West collector's edition because that comes with the massive elephant lad. It's just I've put a whole shelf up specifically for them and it's already full, so I'm gonna have to have a rethink if I do buy that. But that is them, and that was very carefully done. So the 2 cupboards sit above this, which is the arcade 1-up Mortal Kombat cabinet, which hasn't had a huge amount of play. I wanted an arcade cub out here, but I'm not great at fighting games, and this thing keeps kicking my ass. I need to spend some proper time with it. I quite like tubing, which is on it, and Paperboy. It's infuriating, but I'm getting better at it. And Defender as well. There's some easier ones to play, but yeah, that's the Mortal Kombat one, the Midway 30th Anniversary Edition. Came with a stool that is the wobbliest stool in the world. Not quite sure what I can do about that. I've got the bike and some bike stuff. This will get a video of its own one day. It's not a gaming thing, but this is the Sabutio table. It needs a lick of paint, one last coat, and the pitch gluing down onto it. But there's that. Then up here is basically a bit of an overflow shelf. This is the last thing I put up. I've got the box for the Neo Geo Mini. Got my Far Cry 4 box, the Famicom, the big box for the Menacer, Flat Eric, keeping an eye on it all. Some Sony Pony PlayStation bits. A little Loki pop vinyl thing. This is the big box, Cyberbots, what's it called, Full Metal Madness. And the augmented reality lightsaber dual battle thing, which I have tried to film and I just can't, but it's good. You have to just take my word for that one. So that is predominantly all the gaming stuff down that wall. That is the wall of video games and foxes. And then over here is Toy Corner. Now this is all entirely Liam's fault, because I started going to toy fairs with him a couple of years ago and thought I might as well collect something while I'm at it. And he's got some of the stuff from my childhood covered, which was all the Power Rangers and Turtles that he collects. So I've gone a different way. I've gone with the Jerry Anderson stuff, because growing up I absolutely adored Thunderbirds and Captain Scarlet. I've got my Forest scarf up there. I've got just on some more motorbikey stuff. I've got the Valentino Rossi. That's from when I went in the Rossi stand at Assen, 2010. And then, if there is any motorbike racing aficionados here, this flag is now retired, but this came all around Europe, well actually all around the world, watching MotoGPs, which we made years ago. And we got it signed by James Toseland, Leon Haslam, Bradley Smith, and then the last one was for Barry Sheen. So that's hung off grandstands all around the world, but this isn't a motorbike channel. It's a nonsense channel, so here's some nonsense. I bought, a lot of this is some recent stuff from the NEC a month or two ago. So I got the SPV boxed. This was a birthday present from Liam, the Alan Tracy. I've got the Spectrum Cloud City, a couple of games, Captain Scarlet and Thunderbirds. Got a book at the back, a little personal organiser thing. I remember having exactly that as a kid, and it was only about £2 at the NEC, and I thought, it's a bit of shelf fodder, isn't it? I've got my Angel here, Scott Tracy, big Thunderbird 1. There's the SPV from the box, Thunderbird 2 and 4. This Captain Scarlet is very special. This was when I was a kid, when I was, I think maybe 6 or 7, I went to hospital for an operation, and then when I woke up, my parents had bought me a Captain Scarlet doll. So this is the thing in the collection that I've owned for the longest. Had this my whole life. It was my favourite toy as a kid. So he gets pride of place with the rest of them. He's well played with. His head has long since come off. He's got a weird looking neck because it's held on by a piece of wood. He's well played with. But if this was Toy Story, he'd be in charge. He's like Woody. Bought some carded figures, and I've got some sticky hooks that I can have them all displayed. A bit of a calendar, a board game. This is the Cloud City and Tracy Island. When I was a kid, I was one of the ones that we didn't get the proper one because it was sold out. We had the make it yourself Blue Peter version of it, so I've bought myself the original one now. A bit more Star Wars Lego. This is the old fish tank. This has been here for a little while, so you might have seen it on the last version of this. It's a little bright for it to pick it up, but this is my Battle of Hoth scene. Oh, it's very bright. Yeah, you can't really see that properly, but I have the AT-AT Walker, the AT-ST, a couple of stormtroopers. Got the snow speeder hanging. You can't really see that at all. And some gun stuff. The Hoth base. Sort of add stuff to that every now and then. And you can't really see it because of the light in it, but trust me, it's good. And then I mentioned I was into skateboarding as a kid. I bought a Death Star skateboard thinking I was going to start skating again. Very quickly realised what a shocking idea that was, so now it just stays there looking cool. This isn't much, this is just a cupboard that hides the gas meter, but I've got some boxes from a big box stuff up here. I've got the Assassin's Creed Syndicate, the Zero Dawn, the Far Cry 5, and the big Assassin's Creed Michael Fassbender one, and a couple of Sabutio things. The international edition of the table soccer one, and the test match edition of the cricket Sabutio, which is a recent pickup that I haven't done anything with yet. And then this is, I do a lot of hill walking when I'm not in here putting shelves up. And this is a map of the Lake District, Fells. Sort of tick off all the ones you've done. Not overly relevant to this channel, but there we go. This is the model railway. This hasn't changed since the last one of these, because I can't decide whether to put a proper backdrop on it or just leave it as the bare brickwork. There's pros and cons for both, but I am trying to do an Assassin's Creed Syndicate themed one, and this area in particular is based on a very specific location and a specific mission in the game, where there's some vehicles underneath the thing and you have to come down, but it's a work in progress at the moment. Up here, I told the story of the Fox Box in the last room tour video, but the Fox Box was originally a pub in my old flat. I say a pub, a corner of a room that I had a drinks cabinet in, and that sign was a present probably getting on for 15 years ago now, when all the Fox Box shenanigans was a cocktail cabinet. But it still gets its shelf. I don't do a huge amount of cocktail making now. I don't do a huge amount of drinking now, but it still gets its shelf. It's got a few little non-gaming foxy bits out here. And some beers from the Da Vincio Brewery, which is sound from Derby, and that's a little brewery there. And then I have the Lord of the Rings shelf, which is a work in progress. This is a recent addition. I've got another one of these rubber duck lads. I've got Gandalf, Duck Delf, another board game, Lord of the Rings. I've got Risk, Monopoly, Magic the Gathering. I haven't actually embraced Magic the Gathering yet, but I've bought the Lord of the Rings one, and there is an Assassin's Creed one coming out soon, so that is definitely going in the cabinet. It's a little Aragorn that I bought from the NEC. And then this is the only unlit shelf in the place, which has got my currently housing the Evercade collection. This sees very little action, so I'm debating whether to keep it or not. And at the moment I've got the Street Fighter 6 box that's waiting to go up in the attic, and then some Lego that is waiting to go in my office, which is the office Lego. But that last shelf is a holding shelf for when I need something a bit more specific. So that is the Fox box. This is what I've done with the garage over, well, since lockdown really. When lockdown started, this just had a couple of bikes in it and nothing else. And now it is full of stuff. Some of it working, some of it not. But that is the Fox box. And I will see you next time when I'm doing whatever it is I'm doing next. Thanks everybody. Bye.